Jason Williams, you are exactly right, my friend. I'm going to read what you wrote word for word. We're going to go after and tax the wealthy. Statement that always precedes the middle class and poor getting hosed. And folks, that is exactly what we're seeing with today's IRS. Headline from yesterday: Biden promised IRS funding wouldn't increase audits for regular Americans as IRS audits poorest Americans 5 times more. I'm going to get into this article, but first, I want to bring your memory back to 3 years ago when the government was pushing the Inflation Reduction Act through. What was their big line? What was their big mantra? Oh, all this new IRS money, it's not going to hurt folks who make less than $400,000 a year. We're only going after the rich. We're only going after households that make $400,000 a year or more. And that has been the same line that has been repeated by the White House, by Treasury, by the IRS over and over again for the past 3 years. And folks, it just isn't true. They're going after everybody. They're going after the poor. They're going after the middle class like ravenous wolves. Okay, so let me get into this article here. Yep, this was just yesterday. Here we go. Once it was announced that the IRS would receive $80 billion in additional funding as part of the Inflation Reduction Act, the Biden administration sought to assure regular Americans that these funds would not make them more likely to get audited by the agency. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen said that individuals and small businesses making under $400,000 a year would not see audit rates increase. A recent White House press release highlighted how much of the funds are dedicated to closing the tax gap by specifically enforcing tax compliance by the wealthiest tax evaders. However, counterpoint, data from Syracuse University's Transactional Records Access Clearinghouse, a nonpartisan data provider focused on federal government agencies, shows the poorest Americans have a higher risk of getting audited by the IRS. And not by a little bit, by a lot, and it's not even close. So what they did is they analyzed 2021 tax returns. Those are tax returns filed in 2022, which was the first calendar year after that Inflation Reduction Act was passed, and found that annual earners of less than $25,000 were 5 times more likely to get audited than everyone else. Meanwhile, barely over 1% of millionaires received an IRS audit in 2022. See, what they want you to think is, oh, we're only going after the rich. I mean, they're the bigger fish anyway, right? Why would we extend resources on going after the little guy? Don't buy the line. Do not trust the IRS lies. Okay? And you got to be discerning here. Check this out. I had to bring this post up at one point, but yours truly put up an Instagram video last month that now has over 1 million views. Okay? Yeah, I kind of got to toot my horn here a little bit. Sorry, but here I am. But there's a point to this, okay? And my point is this, okay? This guy Michael left a comment 4 days ago. This is why journalism training is essential. There is huge context missing to this. These cases are for people that make $400,000 a year or more. And I did mention this when I made my YouTube video on the 125,000 new non-filer cases, right? And according to that press release from the IRS, yes, the target there is $400,000 household with $400,000 or more in income. But folks, think about it. Think about it. They're only going to tell you about, they're only going to make a press release and blow a trumpet in the street about the cases, about new initiatives against the rich, because that is consistent with their messaging, right down to that $400,000 figure that has been the administration's line for the past 3 years, right? What are they not going to tell you about? What are they not going to make a big press release about? What are they not going to announce in the streets? They're not going to announce all the millions of non-filer cases against households that make less than $400,000 a year. They're not going to do a big press release about the fact that despite what they say about that $400,000 line, that the poorest Americans are 5 times more likely to get audited than everybody else. Okay? The IRS isn't going to announce that. Okay? So, message here, don't just take the IRS at face value. Okay? They want you to think, they want the average American to think, they only go after the rich. I don't have to worry about them. But that's just not the case. Folks, I own a tax relief company. We have people calling our phone lines, filling out the forms on our website, choicetaxrelief.com. Why? Because they have received threat of levy action. IRS taking their stuff against them. And the vast majority of these folks make less than $400,000 a year and have never, many of them have never made anything close to $400,000 a year. Okay, don't believe the nonsense. Don't believe the politically correct press releases from the IRS. It's to make themselves look good and to stay consistent with this $400,000 party line. Anyway, folks, that's all I have for you today. If you are struggling with back tax debt, if you have multiple years of unfiled tax returns, if the IRS is going after you or your state, give us a call, 866-8000-TAX, or you can fill out the form on our website, choicetaxrelief.com. There should be something, a little button poking up right here somewhere. You can fill out the form there. We'll reach out to you. You can also check out my other tax relief videos here on the left-hand side of your screen. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.